Imagine a bustling city where magic and chocolate collide in the most unexpected ways. A young dreamer arrives with big plans, but instead of finding success, he stumbles into a dangerous game ruled by powerful enemies who will stop at nothing to crush him. With nothing but his creativity, a loyal group of misfits, and a touch of magic, he begins crafting sweets so extraordinary, they defy the laws of nature. But as his creations captivate the people, dark secrets bubble beneath the surface, and a mysterious betrayal threatens to destroy everything. What happens when ambition, danger, and chocolate collide? Stay with me now. Welcome to Peak Plot Recaps. If you're here, you're probably ready to dive straight into some epic movies without the boring stuff. We're all about breaking down the coolest and most intense stories from the screen, quick, simple, and straight to the good parts. First, let's see what we are about to deal with real quick before we jump into the recap. So grab some snacks, sit back, and relax. Today, I'm going to explain a magical, fun-filled, and chocolate-drenched film, Wonka. Directed by Paul King, this fantastical adventure comedy takes us back to the late 19th century to uncover the origins of Willy Wonka, the legendary chocolatier. With a perfect blend of magic, mischief, and a whole lot of sweetness, the movie tells the inspiring story of how a young, eccentric inventor and dreamer defied impossible odds to create his legacy. It has 7.0 out of 10 IMDb ratings and belongs to the genres of adventure, comedy, family, and fantasy, making it a treat for all ages. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe button. And now, spoilers ahead. The movie opens with a ship gliding across the waves toward a bustling European port city where dreams and opportunities await. Standing tall on the mast, singing his heart out, is none other than young Willy Wonka. From the very beginning, his eccentric personality shines as he belts out a tune about chasing dreams and making a difference. As the ship docks, Willy steps into the city, a mix of excitement and determination in his eyes. His goal? To open the greatest chocolate shop the world has ever seen. But it's not all smooth sailing. Almost immediately, Willy's naive generosity gets the better of him. He gives away most of his silver coins to strangers, polishing a child's shoes and paying for a smashed pumpkin. Before long, his pockets are empty save for a single coin. Wandering through the streets, he's drawn to the luxurious Galleries Gourmet, a chocolate lover's paradise and the hub of the city's candy business. He's ready to make his mark, but realizes he's far from ready to afford the shop space. With no money for lodging, Willy prepares to spend the night on a park bench. As he settles in, he's approached by Bleacher, a shady character with a sly grin. Bleacher introduces Willy to Mrs. Screwbit, the strict owner of a local boarding house. Willy, eager to find shelter, is handed a long and overly complicated contract. Just as he's about to sign, Noodle, a kind-hearted orphan who works for Screwbit, whispers a warning: read the fine print. Unfortunately, Willy, unable to read, hastily signs the contract, sealing his fate. If you were in Willy's shoes, would you have signed the contract or listened to Noodle? Let me know in the comments. The next day, Willy's infectious enthusiasm takes center stage. He heads to the town square with his first invention, Hoverchocks. These chocolates, infused with a magical flying bug, can make anyone float. Willy's demonstration catches the attention of the crowd, who marvel at the levitation effect. But not everyone is impressed. The sinister trio of chocolate magnates, Arthur Slugworth, Gerald Prodnose, and Felix Fickelgruber, emerge from the shadows. They taste the chocolates and feign disgust, calling them the worst they've ever had. Moments later, the trio starts floating uncontrollably, proving the Hoverchocks' effectiveness. The crowd loves it and buys up all the chocolates. But just as Willy begins to bask in his success, the chief of police, who has been bribed by the chocolate cartel, steps in. He confiscates Willy's earnings, citing a lack of proper licensing, and forces him to shut down. Left with only a single coin from the confiscated funds, Willy returns to Screwbit's boarding house, where his troubles worsen. Screwbit hits him with a massive bill for rent and food, far exceeding what he can pay. Willy, now indebted to Screwbit, is forced to work in her laundromat alongside other unlucky souls who've fallen into her trap. In the basement, Willie meets his new companions, the witty Abacus Crunch, the resourceful Piper Benz, the ever-joking Larry Chucklesworth, and the kind-hearted Lottie Bell. Together, they toil away under Scroobit's watchful eye. That night, Noodle sneaks into Willie's quarters and offers him a glimmer of hope. She shares her dream of having a real family and encourages Willie to hold onto his own aspirations. As Willie settles into his new reality, his passion for chocolate burns brighter than ever. He recounts how his late mother inspired his love for candy making and shares her dream of opening a shop in Galleries Gourmet. The bond between Willie and Noodle deepens as they hatch a plan to escape their oppressive situation. Meanwhile, trouble brews beneath the cathedral. The chocolate cartel, sensing a threat to their monopoly, bribes the chief of police with a mountain of sweets to eliminate Willie at all costs. Back at the laundromat, Willie's resourcefulness shines. He constructs a washing machine powered by a dog named Tittles, freeing his friends from the grueling laundry work. His knack for innovation wins over the others, who agree to help him in his quest to revolutionize the chocolate industry. Willie and Noodle's next challenge takes them to the zoo, where Willie needs giraffe milk for his latest recipe. The duo concocts a clever plan to distract the guards, using alcohol-infused chocolates to knock them out. Sneaking into the giraffe enclosure, Willie milks the gentle giant named Abigail, while Noodle shares the story of her mysterious past and the N necklace that hints at her true identity. The journey back from the zoo is nothing short of whimsical. Willie and Noodle, clutching balloons, float across the city skyline, their laughter echoing through the air. But their joy is short-lived as they're confronted by the chief of police once again. This time, the officer's intimidation tactics escalate, shoving Willie's face into a fountain as a warning to stop selling chocolate in town. Unfazed, Willie rallies his newfound friends to join him in selling his innovative creations. Together, they use the city's storm drains to evade the watchful eyes of the law. As the chocolates grow in popularity, Willie's name starts to spread, much to the dismay of the cartel. However, Willie's efforts are hindered by a mysterious thief who keeps stealing his chocolates. Setting a trap, Willie finally captures the culprit, an Oompa Loompa named Lofty. Lofty reveals that Willie's earlier theft of cocoa beans from Loompaland ruined his life, and he demands compensation. Before Willie can react, Lofty escapes, leaving chaos in his wake. Determined to push forward, Willie and his friends pool their resources to open a legitimate chocolate shop in the heart of the city. The grand opening is a spectacle, with crowds lining up to sample Willie's imaginative creations, including edible flowers, chocolate clouds, and macaroons. The shop's success seems assured until disaster strikes. Unbeknownst to Willie, Scroobit, acting under Slugworth's orders, sabotages the chocolates with Yeti sweat. Chaos erupts as customers grow multicolored hair, and the shop descends into anarchy. In the ensuing riot, the store is burned to the ground, leaving Willie devastated. Willie's despair is short-lived as the cartel swoops in with an offer. They'll pay off his debts and those of his friends if he agrees to leave town forever and stop making chocolate. Feeling defeated, Willie accepts and boards a boat to escape the city. But things take a dramatic turn when Willie notices the cartel's sinister plans. Aboard the boat, Willie spots Oompa Loompa Lofty, who reveals a shocking truth. The cartel has rigged the boat with dynamite to ensure Willie is eliminated for good. Willie and Lofty make a daring escape. Back at the docks, the cartel and the chief of police watch the flames, smugly assuming their plan succeeded. Little do they know, Willie and Lofty have survived. His thoughts immediately turn to Noodle, who he now realizes is in grave danger. Earlier clues, including the N on her necklace and its similarity to a mark on Slugworth's hand, confirm his suspicions that she's connected to the cartel. Racing back to Scroobit's boarding house, Willie discovers that Noodle is being held captive. Scroobit, acting under Slugworth's orders, refuses to release her. Instead, she locks Noodle in the pigeon loft, leaving the young girl with no escape. Willie isn't about to abandon his friend. Rallying his companions, they devise an audacious plan to not only rescue Noodle, but also bring down the chocolate cartel once and for all. Their first step? Infiltrating the cartel's secret headquarters beneath the cathedral. But to succeed, they need a distraction big enough to throw the cartel off guard. Enter Abigail the giraffe. Willie and his team return to the zoo and manage to sneak Abigail out once more. They lead her to the cathedral, where chaos ensues as the towering giraffe charges through the doors, scattering monks and priests alike. The diversion works perfectly, allowing Willie and Noodle to slip into the hidden vault beneath the cathedral. But just as they uncover the ledger, a book detailing the cartel's illegal activities, Slugworth and his cronies arrive. Guns drawn, Slugworth reveals a shocking twist. Noodle is actually his niece. After the death of her father, Zebedee, Slugworth convinced Noodle's mother, Dorothy, that the infant had died. In truth, he handed Noodle over to Scroobit to erase her claim to the family fortune, ensuring that he could seize it for himself. Despite Slugworth's threats, Willie and Noodle refuse to back down. The cartel locks them inside the chocolate vault, opening the giant reservoir valves to drown them in liquid chocolate. As the rich, molten chocolate rises higher and higher, the duo struggles to stay afloat. With no escape in sight, Willie apologizes to Noodle for dragging her into his dangerous quest. The situation looks hopeless, and they're about to succumb when a surprising hero arrives. Lofty, the Oompa Loompa, bursts onto the scene. Still seeking repayment from Willie, Lofty devises a clever rescue. Using his agility and quick thinking, he manipulates the reservoir's mechanisms, draining the chocolate just in time to save Willie and Noodle. The three emerge from the vault with the incriminating ledger in hand, ready to expose the cartel's crimes to the public. Outside the cathedral, the chief of police gloats about his involvement with the cartel, but his arrogance quickly turns to panic when Willie hands the ledger to an honest officer. The damning evidence within leads to the immediate arrest of the chief and the cartel's leaders. A final twist ensures the cartel won't escape unscathed. Unbeknownst to them, Willie had slipped Hoverchocks, his flying chocolates, into the treats he gave Slugworth and his partners earlier. As they attempt to flee, the chocolate's effects kick in, causing the villains to float uncontrollably into the sky. Slugworth, furious and humiliated, vows revenge as he drifts higher and higher. Meanwhile, the chocolate reserves hidden by the cartel are released into the city's fountain, creating a spectacle that delights the townsfolk. They flock to the fountain, sampling the sweet treats and celebrating Willie's triumph. In the aftermath, Willie reflects on his journey. He unwraps the last chocolate bar made by his mother and finds a heartfelt note inside. The secret is not in the chocolate itself, but in the people you share it with. The message inspires Willie to share the chocolate with his friends, solidifying the bonds they've formed along the way. The story doesn't end there. With the cartel defeated, Willie turns his attention to fulfilling his promise to Noodle. Using the ledger as leverage, he helps reunite her with her long-lost mother, Dorothy, in an emotional scene at the city library. The reunion brings closure to his journey and cements Willie's role as not just an inventor, but a true friend. With his debts settled and his name cleared, Willie sets his sights on the future. Alongside Lofty, who decides to stay and work with him, Willie purchases an abandoned castle on the outskirts of the city. Together, they plan to transform it into the world's most extraordinary chocolate factory. As the credits roll, Lofty narrates the fates of the supporting characters. Abacus, Piper, Lottie, and Larry return to their lives, while Scroobit and Bleacher face justice for their misdeeds. Their attempts to escape by consuming tainted chocolate only result in comical consequences, leaving them colorful and behind bars. The movie ends with Willie and Lofty standing in front of the castle, envisioning the future. This movie is an incredible journey filled with magic, chocolate, and unforgettable twists. This story isn't just about sweet treats. It's about friendship, courage, and the dreams that can change the world. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like and subscribe for us to make more peak recaps for you. And what do you think about this movie? Let us know in the comments. Thanks for watching. See you next time.